Sports video games are one of, if not the most popular genres of video games. With so many titles releasing every year, sometimes sports games that get announced, planned, or even finished don't actually make it to the market. Maybe a company went bankrupt, ran out of time, or released a demo that performed so poorly that the smartest business decision was to not release the final product. The crazy thing is, we can find out a lot about these cancelled games and even play some of them. In this video, I picked out some of the most interesting cancelled sports games that never released, and tried to dig up as much information on them as I could. But first, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, Audible. Audible is a website and app where each month you get one audiobook of your choice, as well as 2 Audible originals. Audible has a lot more to offer than just audiobooks, however. You will find podcasts, guided wellness programs, theatrical performances, and so much more. Now that we are all trapped in our homes, why not go to audible.com/SoftDrinkTV or text SoftDrinkTV to 500 and get a free audiobook, no strings attached. Listen to it while you're playing video games, laying in bed, cooking, or doing laundry. You can even download titles for offline listening in case your Wi-Fi goes out or you're taking a walk. I've been listening to Racing to the Finish, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s own book, narrated by the man himself, about his final year, his decision to retire, and what he's been up to after racing. You can get this book or any other audiobook from Audible's massive library for free, either by visiting audible.com/SoftDrinkTV or texting SoftDrinkTV to 500. And while you're at it, check out everything else Audible has to offer. It's the perfect time to give Audible a shot. I'm going to start this video off with the most interesting game on this list, at least in my opinion. The game was titled Retro Studios Football, and it would have been a fully licensed NFL game released on the Nintendo GameCube. If Retro Studios sounds familiar, that's because they developed the fantastic Metroid Prime games. When Nintendo gave them the Metroid license in 2000, they also wanted the company to work on a Nintendo-exclusive football game. Originally, it was going to be a Mario football game, and by football I mean American football. This is one of the few sports missing a Mario title. There are Mario sports games involving soccer, tennis, golf, baseball, basketball, and more, but none with football. Nintendo, however, asked Retro Studios to focus on making their upcoming GameCube titles more mature, which changed the initial idea from a Mario football game to a legit Madden competitor. Gameplay footage was released, which looked incredible, even today. The animations look arguably better than what we see in Madden 20. Look how fluid and smooth the game looks. The player models look really good for a potential 2001 release as well. The title was updated to NFL Retro Football, and the game's aim was to be a realistic NFL simulator. The only other details about the game are simply that it was rumored to have a create-a-player feature potentially for a career mode. When Sega and EA agreed to port their NFL 2K and Madden NFL series to the GameCube in February of 2001, however, the game was scrapped and never released in any form. The source code is out there somewhere though. Another cancelled football game, and one that I have touched on before, was a planned College Football 2015 game to succeed the highly regarded NCAA 14, the last officially licensed college football video game. After NCAA 14 came out, a lawsuit between Ed O'Bannon and the NCAA had been settled, and the result was NCAA not renegotiating its license with EA, and potential future college games being unable to feature player likenesses. Despite this, EA Executive Vice President Andrew Wilson said that the next EA college football game after NCAA 14 was still going to be developed and was already in development. Wilson said the game would still feature the college teams, leagues, and all the innovation fans expect from EA Sports. The game was cancelled after EA was unable to secure the rights to different schools, but the game was mostly complete. In a Polygon article, developers of the game gave us insight into how it would have been. There would have been a career mode where you have the option of playing any skill position player, or even a two-way player who would play offense and defense. The game would have featured a super in-depth customization suite to make up for not having the NCAA license, which would have allowed players to design team logos, names, uniforms, stadiums, and upload and share them within the game. The plan was for the suite to be so customizable that players could perfectly recreate any real school, making the lack of a license less important. If you want to read more about this game, I put a link to the Polygon article in the description below. The most famous example of a cancelled sports game is NBA Elite 11. After the decent NBA Live 10, Mike Wang returned to 2K and EA decided to try and reinvent the wheel. They fully completed the game and released a demo which received immense backlash for having glitches and seeming unfinished. A YouTuber named The Real Hard 8 Times released a video of Andrew Bynum making a T-pose position at midcourt, which gained traction online.
What the f***? Yo, y'all seeing this?
EA cancelled the game after shipping copies to stores in advance of release. Because the games were physically made, a few were accidentally sold to customers early. The game does exist, but there are so few known copies that simply the game's case goes for over $12,000 on eBay. Someone who had a copy ripped the disc online, however, meaning one could either copy the files to a modded PS3 and play the game, or run it through an emulator like RPCS3. That's exactly what I did. And as you can see on the screen, I was able to play and run the full game, catching a glimpse of one of the rarest video games in the world. I might actually start playing this more, because not only do I find this game incredibly interesting, but I think it might actually be a bit misunderstood. Call me crazy, but I had a lot of fun playing this game while making this video. Unexpected fun. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a deeper dive into this game for a separate video now that I have my hands on it. NBA Live 13 was also going to come out 2 years later, but was cancelled for being subpar in quality. This game was not completely finished and never released to circulation, but some members of the NBA Live community were able to play and record an early version of the game, which you are currently watching footage of. Jeff Gordon XS Racing was a NASCAR game that released on PC and Game Boy Color, but it was cancelled before hitting home consoles. There are some screenshots of what the game looked like on the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation on the screen. Another Mario sports game called Super Mario Spikers was announced. This was going to be a volleyball wrestling hybrid game, but was cancelled. It was being developed for the Wii by the same team that created the soccer games Super Mario Strikers and Super Mario Strikers Charged. It was originally going to be purely a volleyball game, but as development continued, more employees joined the team, and the idea of mixing volleyball with wrestling was born. The game was also aiming to have a game show style presentation. Animations from the game have been released, along with some concept art, but the game was never finished. When pitching the idea to Nintendo, Next Level Games was told no because of a Japanese honor thing. John Madden Football, the first Madden game, was originally going to be ported to the NES, and leaked screenshots show that Ubisoft was the developer behind the port. Unfortunately, very little information exists about this port beyond these screenshots. Crushed Baseball 2004 was a PlayStation 2 and GameCube game that never saw the light of day. It was being developed by Amaze Entertainment and was meant to be an over-the-top arcade game similar to Sega Soccer Slam, only for baseball. It was going to have crazy characters with superhuman abilities. It was announced in 2002, but was cancelled when the publisher, BAM Entertainment, started having economic issues. A Game Boy Advance version of the game was released by a different publisher, but the console version never came out. The in-game screenshots that were leaked during development were pretty cool, including a shark human in some creative stadiums. Another cancelled baseball game was High Heat Baseball 2004. This game did release on most platforms, however the planned Game Boy and GameCube version never came out, although screenshots were leaked. Those are just some of the more interesting cancelled sports games that I came across and thought would make for an interesting video, but there are many more. If you go to the site unseen64.net, you can search by sport and read through all the known information we have on pretty much any cancelled sports game. The website covers more than just sports games, however, and serves as a large database for all cancelled video games in general. It's definitely worth checking out. So what are your thoughts on some of these cancelled games? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.